So I'm never gonna end my Point Park career at all.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Pioneer Careers podcast.
For our second episode of the Careers in COPA series. Super excited for today.
I'm so excited.
So can you kind of explain to me, like, what events you've been doing? What have you been up to?
So, I mean, the prior episode, I talked about the SAM event that we did. We also did an event with the literary, or not literary, that's what it used to be called, the Literature, Culture, and Society Department. And I know you know about that event because you helped us out a little bit last year with it, being our moderator, being our talk show host.
Yeah, it was fun.
And we did the same thing this year. Not necessarily a talk show, but what we usually do and what we have done in the past is we collaborated with the Literature, Culture, and Society Department. It used to be called Literature, Arts, and Social Justice before they switched. And I think they combined some majors. But we do a panel with industry professionals, and lately we've been including students. So the first year, which was 2021, I believe, it was completely virtual. And we asked some industry professionals to come talk about their experience with the LCS students to let them know, like, hey, this is what I've done. These are the opportunities available for you. I think we had Barbara Johnson from the YWCA. We had a person who was the mayor of Braddock, and then we had someone from the Heinz History Center. And then the second year, which was also virtual, we integrated a staff member here at Point Park, Nicole Chenoweth, because she's a Point Park, I think she's a Point Park alum, and she is a content editor. So she has writing experience, which is what the department is involved with. So there's creative writing, English, global cultural studies, poli-sci, history, legal, liberal.
There's a lot.
There's so much.
Because
there's like the literature side and then the culture and society, but as a department as a whole. But for the second year, we had a student come on who was creative writing, Lauren Hunter. Amazing. With Nicole Chenoweth, and I forget who the third one is. But we also had keynote speakers as well. And then last year, we had you as our moderator, and we had Adriana Sanchez Solis from the Allegheny County to talk about poli-sci and county employment opportunities, and how students can get involved with the county. So that kind of operated like a one-on-one interview that you did.
Awesome.
It was great. And that was our first LCS panel that we did in person. It was hybrid. We still offered virtual attendance and virtual panelists, but the attendance last year was great, and it was the first time we did it in person. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
This past one, last year was great, right? This year was even better.
Ooh.
Because we had, like, the room was full and kind of overflow.
Good.
And also we offered some food in the back.
Very
so
nice.
We had like a cheese tray. I love the cheese tray here. Oh my God. You have
I know people think it's like the colors of it are questionable.
Because there's like purple, green, and brown.
But it's good. It is. I took a chance and I was like, you know what? This doesn't look as scary as it tastes, you know?
I think the green one is dill. There's a brown one. It might be like mushroom or something. But it's very hearty, like the marble ones.
Yeah.
And the purple, I think, is like grape or fruit based. But then they have like different other ones like cheddar, Swiss, provolone.
I swear one of them tasted like Asiago, low key.
Oh, probably. It might have been.
Is it I don't know, but they're actually really good.
It's so good.
They're good.
But we offered that this year. We offered a beverage station. And just some and meatballs, sweet and sour meatballs.
That sounds really good. I wish I could have came.
So the way we did that was, also I wish you were there too, just so you could like.
I had practice.
Did you?
Yeah, I had practice.
Screw practice. I'm kidding. It's all a joke. The camera's right there. But
that's funny.
For this event, we had a keynote speaker from the city come and talk about opportunities with the city of Pittsburgh. And then we had the same panels as last year, same type of panels, not same people. We had the professional panel. We had 3 alumni and 1 person who used to work at Point Park in the Writing Center. Great advice that they provided for our students. I think it was an awesome event. And they really touched upon how to really hone in on your skills and just ask for support. And don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. We always talk about that here. Step out of your comfort zone and ask. Use your professors and use your your services here at the university to your advantage, like the Career Readiness Center. I'm always going to promote that. But also on the professional panel, we had Natalea Zuko.
Yes, I'm friends with her.
And I always want to, it's so crazy. And I'm just going to say this. I think one time I emailed her and I said Natalie. And then one time I called her Natalea in my mind.
Such a thing.
It's like Natalie, Natalia, Natalea.
Our freshman year, I know, well, my freshman year, her sophomore year, when I first was on the team, like everyone was like confusing the two of us with our names. But it's funny because we're both, Anna is best friends with her too.
Yeah.
So like Anna has a best friend named Natalia and then Natalea. It's like so funny.
Yes. And then throw in a Natalie in there.
Yeah.
Girl, you got me confused.
That's hilarious.
But she was part of it for the alumni professional panel. And then for the students, they were awesome as well.
That's awesome.
We had Maya Sukala, Kelly Lee, and Chloe Luce. And they're just so well spoken. And I was really impressed how they talked about their experiences here at Point Park, their experiences within the Department of Literature, Culture, and Society, how their professors have helped them, their internships, and just telling students to be involved and really speak out. Because there was a question I asked, I think it was Chloe, one of the students, about developing like career competencies. And one of the career competencies is equity and inclusion, which just basically says that you demonstrate the knowledge of global culture, acceptance within different cultures and all that stuff, right? Yeah. An inclusive kind of space that you provide for people. And that's what, according to NACE, employers look for in candidates. That's one of the 8 competencies, along with teamwork, leadership, and all that stuff. But I really wanted to ask Chloe this question: how can students really, I guess, enhance this aspect of themselves? Because it's an important competency to have in your toolbox, especially in today's world.
Oh yeah.
And the way she answered that question, gave me chills, because I think it was just really amazing how she touched upon some of the, I don't want to say political issues that are going on in this country, but a lot of issues that are going on with marginalized groups, including race, sexual orientation, gender, and all of that.
Yeah.
And I think I just can't even speak about it because I'm still a little bit speechless.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And it really makes me believe in you guys, in the younger generation. It's weird for me to say that, the younger generation, that they really want to make a difference, and they really care about people who might be underrepresented.
Yeah.
No matter what race they are, what gender they are, what sexual orientation they are. They care about everyone, and they want everyone to be treated with the same respect.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So I'm really happy how that event turned out. And at the end, for the last hour, it was scheduled from 3 to 6. For the last hour, from 5 to 6, we offered a networking session. We had high top tables in the back.
Great.
Not compared to last year. I think we offered the networking session last year, but I think people just kind of walked around. But with this one, we wanted to be more intentional about it. So we offered the high top tables for people to kind of gather and talk. We offered great appetizers, the cheese tray, the veggie tray. We offered cookies and brownies too, the meatballs. But it was a great event, and it was the 4th time doing it. First time completely in person. Like last year was hybrid, but this time we didn't offer any virtual options. And I thought it turned out really well.
That's so exciting. I'm so happy to hear that.
I'm excited to see what happens going forward with that event. Just moving forward with the school year. We're almost in April.
Wow.
And it's crazy. It's going fast.
It's going quick.
We're going to lose you.
Yes,
we don't have to talk about that. But we can have a goodbye episode. Don't worry.
We'll have a goodbye episode.
We'll have a goodbye episode.
Yes.
And to say goodbye to Natalea since she's graduating. Stay tuned about plans for when there would be another co-host. We'll let you guys know. Don't worry.
That's
don't
exciting.
Worry. But how are things for you? What are you looking forward to? You have a month left of school. Scary to think about, right?
It is pretty scary. I think I've been very prepared to graduate. I've been ready since probably, I don't want to say this whole year, like the whole senior year, but I think when you get an internship or you work with like professionals and then you go back to school, you feel like, wow, like I was out in the professional world a little bit and I got a taste of what it's like. I've had a great year so far. I think each year has brought its own good. I've been able to make the best out of a lot of things. And yeah, I'd say I'm looking forward to just finishing up my capstones and finishing up really strong. I want to and I will be ending very strong because I'm going to be competing at a meet and then I'm going to be graduating. So I'm never going to end my Point Park career at all. I'm going to be competing before graduation and then going to graduation, taking pictures, and then hopefully going back to the meet to get group pictures with everyone. I want to get some pics in my cap and gown too and my stuff at the meet. So I think it's going to be a very exciting day. It kind of feels like I've been talking about it for so long. And like you said, it is only 4 weeks away.
Yeah.
And it feels like there's so much time I have, but there's still not enough. So I think I'm going to be able to end it on a very great note. I'm so grateful for my time here and I'm very happy to move forward and see what's next for me out there, you know?
We don't want her to leave. We're losing a really good one.
Thank you.
But she's a very active student. Her name's everywhere. If you don't know her, then that's a you problem. I'm kidding. But she's a great student, and I feel like she really reflects what or embodies the type of work ethic that a Point Park student should embody.
Thank you, Kenny. It means a lot. And I'm excited to finish up our podcast. I'm going to be sad, but it'll be fun too. You know, we have, this next episode is our second episode in the series of the careers in COPA. Mm-hmm. And then we'll have our other two finishing up that limited series. So I'm excited for this series.
I'm excited, but we're going to go ahead and transition into our second guest. I'm so excited for this one.
Me too.
Stay tuned.
All right, Kenny, are you ready to bring on our next guest?
Oh my God, I'm so excited for our second guest of this limited series.
I'm so excited. And drum roll, we have Sophia Madison Smith.
Hey guys.
Welcome on the Pioneer Careers podcast.
Thank you.
Sophia, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what your major is, and what you kind of do here at Point Park?
Yeah, I am a senior in cinema production. I can restart that.
Yeah.
I can cut it.
I mean, that's it. My name is Sophia Smith, and I am a senior in cinema production, and my major is a BFA.
Cool. And what kind of other opportunities have you done outside of Point Park? I know you've had a couple internships. Can you kind of talk about those?
Yeah, so I applied back in 2023 to the Pop District by Andy Warhol, and I've done the documentary fellowship with them, and now I'm on the social media fellowship with them.
Awesome.
Very nice.
So what kind of got you into cinema production? I know it's kind of like a niche field a little bit, but I'm really interested to hear your story and how you got into that.
Okay, so it started when I was 13. I started making silly skits on social media with my friends, didn't think anything of it. Mm-hmm. And one day I was at basketball practice when I was like 13 years old, and my phone kept buzzing. And I was like, why? What's going on with my phone? Is it broken? What is it doing? And I was checking every app, and I was like, I'm not getting messages. What's going on? So then I opened the Musical.ly app, which is now TikTok.
Yeah.
And my video was blowing up, and it was just going from like 20,000 to 30,000 to 40,000 to 50,000 likes. It just kept going up and up. And it was such a stupid video. I didn't even think it would get the attention that it had.
Those usually are the ones.
Yeah.
They really are. The ones that you don't even try it. They just blow up.
Like, this is so stupid, but it's so funny.
So, I mean, being at the age of 13, I was like, okay. I didn't continue that. And then later on, I entered like a little challenge on Musical.ly. It was Jason Derulo, Get Ugly, and you had to dance or whatever to it. And I just did something silly with like my hair and glasses, and that blew up too. So that went up to like 100,000 likes.
Wow.
And it's like back in the day, Musical.ly had features. So it would say if the video was featured, and when it's featured, it gets pushed out to a large audience. And if it's not featured, the audience doesn't see your video.
Yeah.
Just by like who's following you, that's how you gain that mass following.
Like the algorithm and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I really started to look into it. I think 2 years went by. I was probably 15 at that point. And I started posting a lot more videos, and every video that I would post would just blow up. And for that time, I think it was for a good audience for the kids on it then, because it was mainly children-based at that time. It's like 13 and up, but obviously there's kids younger than that still on it. Yeah. And my videos were just lighthearted. They were funny. They were comedic. Funny for kids our age. And my videos just kept blowing up, and then my followers kept going up, and I eventually got verified on the app.
Nice.
But at that time, it was called Crown.
Oh.
Yeah, you were crowned. That means
You
you're
gotta crown the
verified.
queen.
Yeah.
Crown the queen.
Yeah. And I didn't I just was doing this to do it. And it brought a lot of cool opportunities. I was able to go to festivals in New York. It was like the Queen's Youth Music Festival. They invited me to do like meet and greets as well as other creators.
No.
And it was weird because I was like 15 at that time, and the kids seeing me were like a couple years younger than me. So I'm still a kid at the time. And then I also went to Playlist Live in Orlando. That was a bigger convention with people like David Dobrik, Emma Chamberlain at the time were really big. So it was cool meeting all of them.
Not
Tana
not
Mojo.
Mr. Beast.
Yeah, no, I don't
He
even
didn't
think,
blow up then.
I think maybe he was in the process of it, but yeah, a lot of Vine stars were there.
Oh, Vine. Oh,
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
You were
that
definitely
era.
on Vine.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
That was,
Totally.
I was when did was Vine like 2012, 2013, 2015ish?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
around that.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
those 6-second videos that they
Dang.
limited you to.
Vine.
Those were so like I could just spit off some right now.
Yeah.
I just have some playing in my mind. They're so crazy.
Oh my
It's crazy that
gosh.
Vine was still relevant. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow.
That's crazy.
Anyways, that is how I got into making videos, and I realized that I got a pretty creative brain. Might as well use it.
Use it to your advantage.
Yeah. So I was like, I want to take this more serious. When I got around the age of 17, deciding like where I want to go to school, what's the next step. I was like, I still want to stay in this realm, but I want to be taken more seriously. So I went to seek education and did a route that's more professional. So I got into cinema.
And you started cinema from your freshman year.
Freshman year on. In school, there wasn't necessarily any programs like the ones here.
Yeah.
And they would just have me make videos on the side for them. So I would go cover like the basketball games, the football games, and just make these videos capturing the essence of what's going on. And but I was using like an iPhone at the time. And it was when I got here, it was a huge jump because we're actually using equipment and learning all the fundamentals to it.
And you're like, ooh, I can get more creative.
Yeah.
There's so much more out there that you didn't even know.
And another thing is like the people in my hometown are not like, no one was really relating to what I was doing. And once I got here, I met people like Natalea, and everyone here just wants to create, which is awesome, and collaborate no matter what field you're in.
Yeah.
It's fun. Can you kind of touch on some of your favorite things that you've put together over the years in some of your classes, like your production classes? Like, what are some short films that have really stuck out to you that you've done?
I've taken every intermediate and advanced course, whether it's advanced cinematography, advanced directing, producing. Now I'm in sound. My favorite film probably would be the one we're working on now. It's our P4 senior thesis film called Whirl. Shout out to everyone a part of that. And it's going to be screening at the end of April, which is awesome. I think what I really like about this is that like the most talented people at this school came together to create this beautiful project.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
The final.
What's it about?
It's
If you're allowed to tell us.
I can tell you like the log line and stuff. It's just about this man entangled in an obsession with this girl that reminds him of his dead wife.
Wow.
Yeah, and it takes place in a dance studio, very Black Swan-esque if you've ever seen that. But it's a totally different storyline. It's just that's the inspo for
Like
it.
the
I would say,
aesthetic and
yeah,
the vibes.
yeah.
Gotcha.
And I was the director of photography for this project,
Nice.
so I got to hone in my camera skills a lot with this. It was awesome.
It's awesome.
So you mentioned your hometown. Where are you originally from?
I'm from Newcastle, PA.
Newcastle. Okay.
I want to say like other social media influencers from that area would be like Gabby Hanna, if you know that is from Vine. And that's actually it. Yeah, that's actually it.
That's actually
it's a
it.
small town, yeah.
So what other schools have you, I guess you searched for, kind of looked at, but what really made Point Park stand out in comparison to the other schools that you were kind of interested in?
Other areas I toured, I was all over the place. I went to tour Florida State and FSU. I went to a bunch of schools in New York. Marymount Manhattan was one of them. But what stood out to me for Point Park was the scholarships they were offering. They offered me a track scholarship.
Nice.
Even though that wasn't like my main sport in high school, I still took it and eventually got out with an injury. So that really was it, was scholarship money.
Yeah. And also probably the cinema production, because you realized about the creativity in the
yes,
department
absolutely
itself.
Yeah, when I was scoping out the schools, I was trying to look at like what are the top film schools in Pittsburgh, because I wanted to stay a little bit close to home. I wasn't ready to move yet.
Yeah.
And Point Park was the first thing that came up.
And it's close. It's close to home. If you want to make a weekend trip home,
true,
you're able to do that. But if you just want
absolutely
to have your own life and be independent and be downtown, sorry, I'm just gonna stay away. I'm gonna stay here for a little bit, do my own thing.
Yeah.
But also, I had a great question. Oh, what are your plans for after graduation? Do you know?
My plans for after graduation, hopefully I'm still involved with the pop district over at Andy Warhol as of right now. I want to graduate, stay here roughly for around 6 months, and then I want to move out to California. I feel like that's a land of opportunities. Every time I'm there, I just pick up so many opportunities just by being there.
Yeah.
So,
true.
Yeah. A lot of people to connect with over there in the same industry.
Get your face out there.
Yeah.
Get your name out there so people
Absolutely.
know who you are.
Yeah.
They're like, I need Sophia on my team.
Facts.
We kind of asked this in the first episode of the Careers in COPA. But what does passion and success look like to you? What does that mean to you in your career, or even just personally?
Passion and success to me means being content with yourself and the levels that you set for yourself. Sorry, the goals that you set for yourself, and reaching those levels. That is probably what success is to me. Obviously, like awards and accolades can highlight that, but just for the gist of it, that's it.
Mm-hmm. And I know you have SM Productions, which is your little production company, right? You have your brand. How did you kind of form that, and what did it take for you to get to that point? You're like, I'm ready to kind of branch out on my own, because I know you go to Point Park here, but what made you make that final step for yourself?
It was over summertime. Obviously, there's a lot of free time in the summer if you're not in the heavy schedule that you are with school during the school year. And I was just thinking about it, and I was like, well, I need a camera if I'm going to be working in this industry the rest of my life. I at least need a DSLR. And I started off by making videos for brands around the area at my home in the summer, because I wasn't located in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And I started off with the videos. I didn't necessarily like that clientele work, and then I started honing in a bunch of photography skills with it, because obviously might as well. And I actually really got into photography this way, so I took a few more classes here because I believe that photography and cinematography go hand in hand. A photography still really helps you look and be able to plan out like what you're gonna film with it, like cinematography. Yeah. So it goes hand in hand, and that's kind of how I was like, all right, it's time to like start getting serious. You're a sophomore now. You need to step it up. Yeah. And I started with that, and then I was like, I need to step it up even more. Started with the fellowships at Andy Warhol, and ever since then, I felt a lot more confident and just like more exposure to everything overall.
Yeah. And what are some skills that you've learned outside of Point Park at your fellowships and all that? What are some skills that you've learned while just doing the work yourself and being in the industry?
Absolutely hands-on, what professional work looks like. Student films aren't necessarily professional work, but it's where you learn. So it was nice to see what it's like to work with professionals. I've done, I can't give information for one thing, but it was an awesome opportunity, and it's still in the working. So we'll see how that turns out. And then we just, during the social media fellowship right now that I'm in, the documentary kids are filming a commercial for NBC. Nice. So it was cool to be along that. I've done, I've hopped on a lot of sets outside of school. with professionals. People flew in from LA. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I know these set days, you're gone for hours. You're gone for how long are these days? Can you kind of explain and describe what it's like being on a set for 3 days straight for 10, 12 hours?
Well, so it's 12 hours, and if you go over 12 hours, technically you have to be paid overtime. A lot of people don't do that. It just depends. It's a lot of physical work, especially if I'm in the camera department, and I'm one of the very few women in the camera department. Yeah. So it takes a toll on your body. It's exhausting, but you have to really love it to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's just like back to back, 12 hours each day. It's rough because you're picking up equipment that's over 50 pounds every 5 seconds.
You brought up a point about being the only woman in that department. Could you, if you feel comfortable, maybe talk about if there is a need and maybe a push to support women in the camera industry, cinematographer industry, and what that means to you?
Overall, I think women get gypped in film regardless. Yeah. If you go look at the Academy, there's so much cinematic representation issues. Mm-hmm. When do you ever see a woman win Best Director? Why wasn't Greta Gerwig nominated for Barbie? Yeah. It's just stuff like that. This goes for every race. It just seems to be based around white men.
Yes.
And it's frustrating to see because if you give someone an opportunity, they have all this talent, they can make something beautiful and share this story to the entire world. Why would you take that away?
Yep.
And it's going to bring in more money regardless. Mm-hmm. If you go look at the film Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Love it. Love that
one
film.
Of the most beautiful films that's came out in the past 5 years.
Yes.
You see, it's just a prime example. Give these people opportunities.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I just want to say thank you for, I guess, standing up and providing that insight, because I don't think many people realize or are aware of the stigma with women in any industry for that matter, because we did an earlier episode with Anna, women in STEM, and I think this is a great opportunity to kind of talk about women in cinematography and just movies in general, and in the industry, and how there needs to be more representation and acknowledgement for the women who do the hard work in the industry. They deserve that recognition. Like you said, Greta Gerwig for Barbie. I was kind of surprised about that. Yeah. But we don't have to get into that soapbox. Yeah. But one question I do have for you, it's not related to careers or anything. And we've asked the seniors here before about this question, because you are the first class here at Point Park who started during COVID and who is now leaving Point Park. So you started in fall of 2020,
correct?
Right?
Yep.
So having that, coming to Point Park during COVID, it's fresh and everything. Also graduating high school during the COVID years and not really having a high school graduation. How was that, I guess, transition starting during the COVID years? How was that for you? And if it was rough or anything, or if it was great, however it was, how was it for you? And how did that kind of, I guess, help you become who you are today?
Coming in with COVID, obviously in high school we got screwed from graduation. Yeah. That's whatever. You can't. There's no words for it, honestly.
It is what it is, kind of.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh man, this is still going on. We have to go to our freshman year of college like this now. It was weird. I think I think I could have met a lot more people if we just had that one orientation. Why were we boxed up in rooms? I mean, I understand the rules and regulations, but I think it limited me to a lot of things. Yeah. I was put in the Hilton Garden Hotel. That was a bonus, whatever. I will never complain about that.
Space.
But not being able to have your friends in the room and getting penalized if you were to have a friend in the room was absolutely ridiculous to me. Yeah. They were just so strict with everything, and it's just kids trying to be kids and make friends, and they're taking that away from us. Yeah. So I mean, you got to offer something up if you're going to do this to us.
Yeah. Did that affect, if it did it affect your mental health at all? How did that really affect you, and how did you overcome that?
I want to say if it affected my mental health in any way, it would just be simply being alone too much. You're trapped in your hotel room most of the day, and then you go to class with a mask separated, and then you go back to your hotel room. It was frustrating. There's a lot to unravel with it.
Yeah. And looking back, I guess, what are you most grateful for? I guess during that experience, and what has really helped you to where you are today? If there is anything.
No, there is. If anything, it would be you have to go out and make friends on your own. You like that's how I met Natalea. Like I it just like was a chain. Like I met one friend, then the next friend, then this friend introduced me to that friend. And
because it only takes one.
Yeah,
it only takes one, and who knows?
Yeah. What else would be positive with it? Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, because being alone can be very like that isolating factor.
Yeah.
You kind of feel like you're in solitary confinement, and you're there with your own thoughts, and you're like, okay, now what? Kind of a thing. And you're like, okay, let me be friends with my thoughts, and then you just what do I do now? Kind of a thing.
Yeah, and I know, like, I had a roommate my first semester, freshman year, and then I had my own room second semester. So, like, I did have someone there to talk to and kind of, like, vent to or whatever. But I know in the hotel, you guys literally were in your own room, and you got penalized for having someone else in. And it's just, it was, like, a big mess, you know? So, at the end of the day, like, COVID made our freshman year the way it was, and there's only so much you can take from it, and I think like we've done really good with like taking the positives from it as much as we can.
Yeah, we absolutely looked at the positives and tried to make the best of everything. I will say I feel like my education was ripped off that first year and partially second year. I don't think I learned much on a Zoom screen at all.
We've heard that a lot. I think Joey said that before. Joey Bova, he said it was so difficult to really learn from a screen and just that distancing and everything.
And we still got charged like the same tuition,
amount.
Which is kind of, they should have done half or something. Now, look, like, why did we get charged full tuition?
That needs taken
for a
to
Zoom call.
The President of the United States.
Let's just, we're going to go up there. We're going to tell.
For real. Like, give us our money back. Like, I swear, if we did like a poll for every college freshman that year at any university, everyone would be like, I learned nothing.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about those times and where we are today and how we're doing this right now when just 4 years ago, even 3 or 2 years ago, we were still social distancing. We were still doing masks in public places and mask spaces. So I'm grateful that we're able to do this with you and have you on here.
Absolutely.
Natalie has said so much about you and great things. And she's been like, I need Sophia to get on. To get on.
I was like, she's coming on. Like before we're done, she's coming on. She's going to tell us her story.
Yes.
I'm happy to be here.
And with this limited series with Careers in COPA, I think it's a great opportunity to really highlight COPA as well.
Yeah.
Because the intersectionality between Careers in COPA and also our office, the Career Readiness Center, I feel like it's underutilized and under it's not said enough how much we can help COPA majors. So just to let you know, the Career Readiness Center is here for you.
Awesome.
We're here to help you with your resume. You might have connected with Monica Ritter a few times. Maybe.
I actually haven't. I've connected with some of my cinema professors.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you need an extra look at your resume, feel free to connect with us.
That would be awesome.
Or even anything after graduation. You have questions about your career plans, reach out. We're here to help.
Cool.
We're here to hold your hand and help you along the way if you need, okay?
I appreciate that.
Natalie, you have any questions for Sophia?
What advice do you have for someone that wants to get involved in any type of COPA, but specifically cinema? Like, what do you suggest to them if they're a little scared or?
If you want to get involved, you have to be all in. You can't slack because if you go hit the real world, they're not going to bat an eye at you. They're just going to tell you to hit the road. So you have to be eager. You have to be hungry. You have to know what you want if you want to be in cinema at least.
I like that. Especially in COPA because the COPA department itself is very go, go, go. Like you have to be able to keep up and do the work and not slack, like you said. So for those of you out there, if you want to be in the COPA department and you have a major in the COPA department, be prepared to work.
Yeah. It shows who works too.
Yeah.
It does. It really does.
And you're rewarded for it too.
Yeah.
And you
recognition.
you can tell who actually wants to be there and who doesn't too, which is a huge factor. And just like you said earlier, like you have to love it. You have to be all in. If you're not, if half of you's like, I don't know if I really want to put the work in, then like, why are you even doing it?
Yep.
You should be 100% in or change your major at that point because
I've noticed from freshman year to now, there was a small group that came in for cinema, and that small group is still here.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
there's not necessarily people that dropped it.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Is there like a crossover between animation and cinema at all?
Animations, it's its own thing,
Is
as
it?
well as
Okay.
screenwriting, actually. So there's a lot of different concentrations. You don't necessarily have a concentration that you graduate with, but you declare one.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what sets you up for like a production 3 level, production 4 level
Okay.
film. And then P3, production 3, is where they you send your portfolio off to them, and then that's like kind of your audition.
Okay.
And then the professors and like higher up decides who goes where or who doesn't even
wow.
get
Wow.
into this
Okay.
program.
It's cool.
That's awesome.
Very competitive, but
Very.
you have it. You have that. You have it.
You have the drive.
I feel
have
like
it.
it's gotten less competitive here, at least ever since like COVID rules became a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Dang.
Well,
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you
I'm so
so
glad
much.
that you were able to
thank
come
you
on
for
today.
sharing your story. Thank you for being open, especially during the COVID times of mental health.
yeah,
I know sometimes it's very hard to talk about, but I think it's important to be open. And if there are students who are feeling similar or who have been in your shoes, they can relate.
Mm-hmm.
And sharing those words might make them feel more at ease.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, Sophia, for joining
Thank you.
us.
Thank you for
And it's
having
nice to
me.
meet you finally.
yes,
No.
pleasure.
Wow. That was great.
That was great.
That was amazing.
I'm so glad I was able to meet Sophia.
Mm-hmm.
I think she provided a great way to discuss how women in film are treated and how there's underrepresentation, under acknowledgement. And I think it's something that really needs to be talked about, because with the Academy Awards just happening, and in my opinion, the lack of recognition that Barbie got, especially the director being a woman. Hello?
It's literally, yeah, this is why the movie was created,
Yeah.
because it shows that like women are at the point, and I know like stuff in history, whatever, women are equal to men in those types of things. And I will say that, like, talent and creativity, are you being for real right now? Like,
Yeah.
that is something that is very versatile.
Very versatile, very fluid, and it's not based on gender.
No, not at all. So if you're talented, you're talented. I don't care. You're talented.
Yeah.
Like,
So thank you, Sophia, for talking
Yes.
about that. And thank you for being on the podcast. And thank you for being part of this limited series and being our second episode, talking about cinema, cinematography, cinema production, what all
Yeah.
goes into that, and everything that you have done. So thank you, thank you, thank you. But I think it's now time to transition to another article.
Yes.
La, 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 la.
Article Man.
And April Fool's is right around the corner. Joke's on you.
April Fool.
There's the camera again. And last episode, we did fun facts about Easter.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured, why not do some fun facts about April Fool's Day? And maybe the history of it, like where it kind of originated,
Yeah.
right? But before I do that, what is your opinion on April Fool's Day? What are some of the pranks you've pulled, if you've done any?
I think it's a very fun day. I haven't pulled tons of pranks in my lifetime, maybe a couple jokes here and there, 100%, but I've never done anything wild or crazy that I can think of.
Really?
No.
There was one time in high school. I'm in high school. Might have been middle school. And it's just so stupid. But my best friend in high school, what was it? It was one of these times where, it's just so stupid. It's hard to explain. And she told her mom's partner that I wasn't coming over, like, for dinner or whatnot, but I was there the whole time, like, hiding in, like, behind a couch or a closet.
That's funny.
And that was just like the prank. That was
the
it.
prank.
But the partner got so mad and was like, "You made me feel stupid," and all this stuff. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah, that's something that's not even that big of a deal. It's
And
like
then-
a cute little April
and then we're
Fool's.
like, it's April Fool's Day. But then, like, my best friend's mom grounded her for it. It was just so
just
crazy.
because you were there the whole time.
I was there the whole time when, yeah, it was just really funny.
That's funny.
It was whatever. But I have some fun facts about
Let's
April
hear
Fool's
it.
Day.
I want to hear it.
So April Fool's Day history is a bit of a mystery. No one really knows the true story of April Fool's Day, but some historians believe it goes back to a calendar change in the 16th century. Before the modern Gregorian calendar was created, the one we still use today, New Year's Day actually fell on April 1st. Crazy. Apparently, when the switch was first made, some folks were resistant and wanted to continue celebrating the new year on the 1st of April. This eventually gave them the nickname April Fools, a possible origin to the holiday's name.
Interesting.
April Fool's Day became popular during the 1700s. During this time, April Fool's Day exploded in Britain, eventually reaching its way to Scotland. In Scotland, April Fool's Day continues to be a 2-day event. I want to go there. With the second event exclusively focusing on backside pranks, like pinning a fake animal tail on unsuspecting friends. Or like kick my back.
Kick my back.
Kick my back. What's another one? People have divided opinions on April Fool's Day. Do you have a divided opinion on April Fool's Day? You're kind of like, it's whatever.
I'm like, I love doing like little jokes, or maybe I'd do a little prank this year. I just don't know what it would be. I feel like it takes a lot of
little ditty bitty prank.
It takes a lot of planning, and the fact that we have Easter on Sunday too, it's just like there's so much, and I don't know if I have time, but I'm not opposed to it at all.
So they say, you might think that everyone loves pranks and good fun, but polls show that people's opinions are very divided. According to a recent survey, 45% of adults are amused by pranks, while 47% find them annoying.
I think it depends on the prank. Like if it's like a really big thing, that's like kind of annoying. But if it's like a little joke, I think it could be kind of fun.
And then here's a few more. There have been some mind-blowing hoaxes over the years. One of the most famous April Fool's Day pranks occurred fairly recently in 2008 by none other than the BBC, the British broadcasting channel. I think that's what it is. The BBC is a trusted authority for nature documentaries. In fact, we've recommended their Planet Earth series several times on our blog, which this is from The Tudor Doctor. But in 2008, the BBC aired an entirely fake special featuring penguins that had evolved them to learn how to fly. Millions were duped into believing penguins were capable of flight, only to be disappointed when it was revealed as an elaborate and expensive hoax. That's funny, because we all know penguins can't fly. Mm-hmm. Sometimes April Fool's Day pranks have gone horribly wrong. Oh, yeah. Let's hear about this. A famous example of a prank backfiring is known as the Jaffer alien invasion. I don't know what that is. In 2008, a popular newspaper published that UFOs had landed in a nearby desert. The town immediately went into a panic, with parents even refusing to send their children to school. The mayor prepared for an evacuation of 13,000 townspeople before the newspaper revealed it was only a prank, who claimed it was never their intention to scare people.
Wow.
Talk about a prank going too far. And then the last one, this says some fun facts. In most cases, April Fool's Day pranks are all in good fun. A classic April Fool's Day prank, also aired out by the BBC, occurred in 1957. The BBC ran a television special featuring spaghetti trees that could be harvested for freshly grown pasta. The BBC was soon flooded with requests to purchase these trees and had to declare the segment a hoax the very next day. But then it says, this April Fool's Day, the one coming up, make sure to be respectful, stay safe, and most importantly, have fun.
Mm-hmm.
So remember that, kids. Be fun, stay respectful, and try not to use anyone's, downfall to your own jokes.
Exactly.
But I think that kind of concludes our second episode for this limited series for Careers in COPA. But if you have any questions, feel free to email us at careerdev@pointpark.edu. That is careerdev@pointpark.edu. And thank you for the Center for Media Innovation for allowing us to record this podcast in their space. And you can check this episode wherever you get your podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, or Apple. I always mix those up. I never say it in the right order. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye.